X-band, K-band, Ka-band, laser, GPS connected.
All right, here we go. Uniden R8 unboxing and a quick testing and of course comparison with the R7. Let's see what's the difference between the two models. It's right now. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If, like me, you are a big fan of radar detector, then you probably heard about this one, the Uniden R8, the new model from Uniden. This radar detector is one of the best on the market right now. So let's do an unboxing, see what's in the box, and then a quick comparison between the R8, the latest model, and the R7, which is the previous model. Let's see just a quick comparison with the body comparison, and then I will do a quick menu comparison between the two, so you have an idea of how they look like. If you want a thorough comparison between the two, with all the functionality explained, I advise you to go and watch and follow the Vortex YouTube channel that is on the description right now, and you will have a better idea of how these two devices work. But for now, let's do unboxing of the R8 and then the body comparison and then a quick menu comparison between the two units. Let's go! All right, unboxing time, R7, R8, let's go! So R7, we do have user manual and a box, hard shell case that they provide. Let's see on the R8, same thing, user manual and the hard shell case. Both of them look identical. Although I will say the case from the R7 looks a little bit smaller than the R8. Let's compare them. It's slightly smaller on the R7 compared to the R8 case. Inside the R7 case, we do have, let's see, up. So we have the radar itself, which is protected inside this neoprene pouch with Velcro. We see that in a second. But then they give us one of these mounts with the suction cup. And then we have one mount for windshield with the suction cup in the back, and it's adjustable. Of course, the cigarette plug that goes to the radar detector, and it has a USB ports, extra USB ports, so you can put a phone for charging and a mute button here. And they give you also the USB to micro USB cable to connect the radar detector to your computer to do the firmware update. Now for the R8, let's see. In the case we do have, they give us the same mount with the suction cup, but there is an extra, I see, like a 3M tape, double-sided tape here. We do have the same windshield suction cup, adjustable suction cup. The micro USB to USB cable to connect the detector to the computer for the firmware updates. It's funny that it's a new model of radar detector, but they still use micro USB, not USB-C. So it's good to know. And then we have, of course, the cigarette plug that's connected to the radar detector with the same USB port on it and the mute button like the R7. So everything on accessory is the same. The neoprene pouch and the radar inside as well. So all identical to the R7 accessory that we get. Now comparing the two devices, so R7 and R8 here. Front of the device, here we go. So we just have the screen on the R7 while we have the screen and the mute button, mute and dim button, and the mark button on the front on the Uniden R8. On the side here of both radar detector, we do have the connecting port. I believe it's RG11 connecting port and micro USB port for the firmware update. In the back of each device, we have the antennas. So both antenna here, they are a little bit, the R8 model, as you can see, it's a little bit curved, with a tiny curved area here, like a half ball, half moon, while the R7 is completely flat. And both of them, of course, have their serial number on the bottom and some vents for the heat. On this side of the detector, we do have for the R7 the mark and mute and dim button with the port, I believe it's a 3.5mm jack ports, if I'm correct. While here we don't have those buttons, they are in the front, but there is like some kind of RG plug as well, which is smaller than the RG11 that we have for the power. So we have a small plug on the side. I will have to check the user manual to see what it is, and probably you can see now on the screen what this plug is for, but it's interesting to know it's there. On the top of both devices, and then we have the mount area where we can mount this detector on the bracket, and that's the release button. It's a square on the R7 and it has a little bit of a weird shape on the R8. You press this button to release the mounts. Wherever you mount, whatever bracket you use to mount your radar detector on, it will be clipping, and then to unclip it you just press one of those buttons. On the top as well of both radar detector we have the menu, plus and minus, and power button. And on the R7 they are bigger than the R8, they are a bit smaller. The radar detector R8 feels a little bit smaller, looks a little bit smaller at least than the R7. So I don't know if they compact everything that they were using on the R7 and give it more power as well, but here you go, visually you can see it's smaller than the R7. Let's take a quick measurement. R7 is about 5 inches long, R8 is about 4.75, I will say, inch long, and the total here on the smallest area it's about 3 inches, and here we have a little bit more than 3 inches. It's a bit the same. We have about the same on the wide area of the detector. We have about 3.5, a little bit less than 3.25 maybe inches on both radar detector. And thickness we have for the R7 about a little bit more than 1 inch, and on the R8 just 1 inch. So that's all for the physical comparison of the two devices. Okay, R7, R8, let's fire them up and see the difference between the two devices menu. If it's the same, or maybe they change something between the two versions. All right, let's go.
GPS connected.
Right away we notice that the GPS on the R7 connects very fast, even indoor, while the R8 still is in standby. So that's interesting to know. Maybe the GPS antenna on the R7 is more powerful or more sensitive than the R8. That's going to be interesting to find out. All right. Now it's about 10 minutes in that the both units have been powered on, and still the R8 GPS don't show any sign of life. So R7 is still good and locked. R8, game over on the GPS indoor at least. Now let's go for the menu.
Basic menu.
But have the same so far on basic menu. Okay, so that was something interesting. I noticed there is some menus that were not the same to a certain point. So let's go back to menu.
Basic menu.
Basic menu for now. Here we go. So MRCD off menu, but then here we have like Gasto off, RT 3/4 off, when this one, the R7 is on mode display. Now we are mode display here. Next one, that's still the same, scan icon off, display speed, alert display, speed unit, auto mute, auto mid volume. And then the version, we'll have to date the R8. Yes, okay. And exit.
Exit.
Timeouts, when you don't press any key on the menu for a few seconds, the menu timeouts, and it goes back to the main screen. So here we go. So that's after the MRCD T on and off. So this one, the R8 have a T as well. And here we have an extra menu, which is Gatso RT 3/4 menu. That's interesting. So I put on the screen what that means, but that's the extra
Exit.
on the menu of the R8. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same on both menus. That's except this little extra setting right there. You will note still that after all this playing with the menu, the GPS of the R7 is still locked, but the GPS of the R8 didn't lock at all still. And I've been playing with those since like more than 30 minutes now, and still no GPS lock indoor on the R8. Alright, well, if you want to know more about all the functionality of those menu, what those menu does, I advise you to go and watch the Vortex channel, Vortex YouTube channel. He explained everything on the R7 and the R8 about how to set up your radar detector correctly. But I just wanted to show you quickly the difference between the two menus, so that you know. And of course, now we know the GPS as well is a little bit weak on the R8, especially indoor. Alright. The R7 is off for now. I'm going to leave the R8 on for at least 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, just to test this screen, because a lot of people report on the forum that some of the model, especially a early model, that's one of the issues when you are an early adopter of device or of any new device. Some people reported that the screen failed, so it just like dies, or there is like some line that appear on the screen. That happened not right out of the box, but after a few minutes or hours of use. So I'm going to just leave this R8 on the table, on the test bench right there, for around like 30-40 minutes, and see if my screen hold up and if nothing weird happened to the screen. And of course, I advise you to do the same when you receive yours. Be sure that your screen works perfectly before the warranty expires. Alright, after like just when I was finishing saying that after 30 minutes the GPS is not connecting, the GPS of the R8 finally connected indoor. So now we have a connection. At least I know I don't have a defective GPS, just the antenna maybe slightly less sensitive than the R7 on the GPS side. So that's good to know. Hopefully it works perfectly outside, and of course being inside the car, hopefully it's not going to affect the GPS functionality. But here we go guys, after like 30 minutes and few seconds, the R8 GPS finally woke up and got a lock. Alright, it's been like an hour now that this unit is working non-stop on the test bench, and it's a little bit warm on the top there, around where the power connector is connected, but other than that, the screen still works flawlessly. No weird line or no screen at all. So, I mean, the screen is there, it's showing up. Hopefully, I don't have a faulty read, but again, I advise you to test yours. Plug it like that if you can on the test bench and leave it on for like an hour. Do not plug it in your car and leave the unit on in your car with the engine off. It may deplete the battery, so really like try to get one of those cigarette plug 12 volt to 110 volts adapter, and then you can test your unit like I'm doing myself. But so far so good. There is also an extra menu I forgot to tell you about. It's on the main display, not when you are in the menu section, but right there on the main section of your radar detector. When you press and hold normally the menu button, it switches from city to highway on the R7. But here we have an auto mode. That means you have to set it up, of course, in the main menu you have a section for that. But once you set it up after a certain speed, it detects if you are on highway mode or on city mode with this automatic mode. So I think it's a nice extra feature that the R8 have. And of course, otherwise, except that, it has all the other modes that the R7 had before. And about again the GPS of the R8, remember that it took like 30 minutes right out of the box when I connected it for the first time to lock, to get the GPS locked indoor I should say instead. Well, look at that, now that it's off, I turn it on, and after the self-test, look at that, the GPS connect right away. So I suppose that was just like first time connected out of the box. It needed some time to maybe calibrate or something, but once the device got a lock, then right away when you start the device, it gets a GPS lock. So I'm happy with that. I started to worry that my device was defective. It has maybe a weak on GPS antenna compared to the R7. No, once it gets a lock inside, once it's calibrated, then it turns on right when you power on the device, as you saw.
X-band, K-band, Ka-band, laser, GPS connected.
Here we go. So, all installed, ready to go. That's my daily driving now, the Uniden R8 radar detector. Let me know in the comment which one you prefer between the R7 and the R8. For now, for me, it's going to be, of course, the R8. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope this video has been useful, and see you next time. Bye-bye. I advise you to go and watch this channel that I... Plane, attacked by plane. And you can have this, and you will have a better, idea of how these two devices work. Let's go!